welcome back to another episode of the GPS podcast, Grow Your Passion into Success, where we
grow your passion into success.
Give you the roadmap to success.
We give you the roadmap to success.
One day we'll get it right though, right? GPS podcast. I am your co-host, CEO, Brother Henry, and I'm here with this lovely lady.
You called yourself the co-host.
Yes, we're co-hosts.
I feel important. I feel like I'm a part of what we're doing now.
You feel like that?
Yeah, I do. I feel like that.
Do you want to introduce yourself to the people?
Oh, yeah. I'm Sister Keishonda.
Okay. so that's that. And today's episode, we're talking to y'all. As you probably know, or maybe you don't know. I don't know how you know us or how you found our podcast, but we own Kiefer's Academy for Entrepreneurs, grades K through 12. All of our students.
I like that.
You like that?
That was dope.
All of our students have to start small businesses that generate revenue.
Right.
And all of our students have to publish a minimum of one book a year. In addition to that, we bring them $1 million in entrepreneur coaching from some of the top entrepreneurs across the country. This is kind of like an ad, and it's the podcast, but I'm going to keep talking anyway. So we bring them over $1 million in entrepreneur coaching. They have STEM, Black History, year-round, just amazing plethora of things. They have Python, computer programming, so they can get jobs with Samsung, Apple, Microsoft, and the top software companies, top technology companies. And that's what we do, Kiefer's Academy. So we own a private school, and right now we're working on building more schools across the country. So we lit right now.
We are lit right now.
We lit right now. You might have seen us on some of those bigger podcasts. We definitely will be on some more coming up soon. So we excited. And
we're in the middle of the school year, so it's exciting.
Definitely in the middle of the school year. Drama's already happening, you know.
Drama happens at schools?
Drama happens at schools. You know what's crazy about owning a school? This year I'm the principal, not by choice per se. I'm trying to get away from that, but I'm principal this year. Mind you, I don't have a college degree. I kind of have a high school diploma. I mean, I graduated. It's because they was like, yo, you got to go. Like, we're not going to put up with you for another year. You got to go. Here's your diploma. You're the world's problem now. So I got a high school diploma. How many degrees you got?
Several. She
got a bunch of them. So I get to borrow some of hers, basically. We have this school. It's revolutionizing education across the country. It's extremely non-traditional. And there's been ups and downs like any other business. But having this business has been hilarious. I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of the stuff that happens, like after it happens, it might be heated when it actually happens. But after it happens, hilarious. Like looking back on some of the stuff, you like, yo, how did this even happen? So I wanted to share this story, and we'll see where this takes us. All right, now I'm encouraging entrepreneurs to build private schools or institutions. It's one thing to have a business, it's another thing to build an institution. Institutions are like banks or schools or, these entities that you need for governance. Like, you can't complain about problems in your community and then you don't control none of the institutions in your community. True. So in our city where we live at, in Rockford, Illinois, Forbes magazine said that Rockford, Illinois has the third worst educational system in America, which means huge problem, which means there's a lot of money if you can solve that problem of educating young people properly. And so
it's not just about the money, though.
It's not just about the money, but for entrepreneurs that's watching,
true,
they want to know where the bag is at.
True.
So the bag is in education, but you gotta figure some things out.
The bag is not just in education, though, because from what we found out, there's other schools in this area.
True, right? True.
So it's not really schools,
not just education.
It's institutions that you want to.
It's institutions. This is true.
Key.
This is true.
Because we don't war against. Okay, never mind.
Okay, now okay. See what I'm saying? It's Sunday.
It is Sunday.
So folks done had their church vibes going on, left the mosque, and now they ready to teach. But it's cool. We got y'all. But I will say, if you want to build a school, it's not as simple as just like, yo, we got some students, we gonna teach. It's not that simple.
You want to build an institution. That's the biggest difference.
Yeah, building an institution is some seriously hard work, but there's fun along the way. I'm going to share a story. I don't know if my wife remembers this story, but this story is a story about doing things the right way and the wrong way, okay? When we first started our school, we owned a beauty supply store, and we started our school on the second floor above our beauty supply store. And we started off with 7 students. Now, this is key to my story, because one of those students that started with us is the star of this story, but I'm not going to tell y'all his name, but I will tell you the story.
This is interesting.
Okay? One day, I hear a child scream. Like, it's the scream that I've only heard in horror movies, like when Freddy's coming to town or Jason or somebody. I hear a child scream, and then I see my wife just sprinting towards me with a look of panic on her face. What? It's all going down. And she gets to me and she's like out of breath dang there. She only had to run a few feet. So it had to be intense that she's like, yo, you gotta go get the child. I'm like, what happened? She's like, yo, he tried to zip it up in the zipper and it got caught. I'm like, as a man, oh God.
Yeah.
I felt his pain, right? Yeah. And so
I couldn't even help. I didn't know what to do.
I didn't know what to do. Like, yo, we got ice cubes. I don't know what to do in this situation. What do we do? Because there's no training.
That was tight.
You can't get trained on what to do in that situation. Like, yo. Tight. So it was like, what, 5 years old, something like that?
Nah, he was
6.
He's 9 now, so that was 4 years ago.
Oh yeah, so I guess it's about 5 years old. So he's in pain, and as a man, I'm in pain just watching his pain.
What did you do? I don't remember. I just know I came to get you because I was like,
man, I just called on every Allah, God, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad. I called on all the religious super friends at that time to please send down some healing on this young man, because as a man, I'm like, yo. There's things that you wish don't happen to you. Like, I don't want to get beat up. I don't want to get stabbed, right? But there's some things that I don't even wish on my enemies. And this is one of those things that I was like, yo! I don't remember how we handled it. And I can't even give you like a rule book to say this is what you do in that situation. Because just don't get in that situation and you don't have to worry about it. But like, it was, I just remember him crying. I trying to be there for him. But like, he was crying for like that afternoon.
Yeah,
and I was like, yo, just call his dad. And I was like, yo, I'm so sorry. Like, we let him go to the bathroom by himself. He's potty trained, but, you know, and all we could do is just like, sit around and just like, yo, man, you know, it's going to get better. And I kept telling him that, but I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. I told him it would get better. But that's what you tell people in that situation. Yo, it's going to be okay. But it's not going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? So I was just thinking about, and I'm telling that story to make a real point for entrepreneurs who are in the grind, which is there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. And from this story, we can see that when you do things the wrong way, typically it's going to cost you more, and you're going to be in more pain doing things the wrong way than if you would have just did it the right way. So I think that's a good analogy. You know?
Sure.
Do things the right way.
Give me another story.
Do things the right way.
These stories are pretty fun.
So that you don't have to do things the wrong way. Before I got some more stories to tell, but I was going to ask you, do you have any stories? Like, do you have any funny stories to tell?
From school?
From school.
So see, what happened was,
right,
I didn't really come to school to class prepared today.
Oh, God.
So I don't have one right now. But as you tell another one, I'll try to think about something. I'm trying to think about something from the very beginning. Instead of stuff that's more recent. But I'm trying to think of something from like the beginning. Like the old days, you know, when we had 7 students. Okay,
I'm going to tell you, this one wasn't from the old days. This one was from last year, right? So last year, so let me give y'all this. Our school is kindergarten through high school. So we got every grade level. And so we part of what we do in the school is we bring in entrepreneurs as guest speakers, right? If you lit and you an entrepreneur, we would love for you to come speak to our children. That's how we operate. So I bring in one of the most lit sisters I know, Bryn Dresser. She's the hostess for the morning meetup with David Shan. So if you're part of the morning meetup, you know who Bryn is. So I talked to Bryn, like, yo, Bryn, can you come in? And she's like, I'd love to speak to your students. Got you. She has a podcast called, what's her podcast? I got to drop the link for her podcast, and I don't know what it's called. I got to get it. Like The Mental Advantage or something like that. She deals with like D1 athletes and like professional athletes, and she helps them get over mental roadblocks. So I'm like, oh, she'll be great to talk to our students because she understands their psychology.
Right.
So Bryn comes in, and she speaks to our kindergartners for like an hour straight. And she's dropping jewels. She's giving them gems. She's telling them like, yo, even in kindergarten, and she's there's only 2 guest speakers we had to come to this school that ever held the attention of the younger students more than like 30 seconds. It was Marquel Russell and Bryn Dresser. Those was the 2 people that came that like held their attention the full time. They were on the edge of their seat. They were in love with it. So when Bryn is on Zoom, mind you, she's not even in person. She's on Zoom. She's so good that the children are listening. They are tapped in. I'm like, yo, Bryn we got to bring Bryn in person. As soon as COVID's over, we're going to have to, I'm excited. So then at the end of her presentation, she asked the children, all right, now that y'all got all this from me, she says, and she's teaching hard. She's giving out real game, like how to build your business. She's giving them like, yo, you can go do this now at 6 years old. She's the one who gave me the idea, like go have them build the puzzles and then customize the puzzles or sell the puzzles. So I'm like, oh, Bryn is dropping it. So after Bryn gets done, she's like, anybody have any questions? All the students line up. They come to ask her questions, The first student gets up there and he's like, yo, Bryn, like, how would you feel if I was abducted by aliens? Like, as the principal, teacher, guy, man, friend, you almost hope that, like, they're going to ask a question that has anything to do with what she said. But he's like, yo, I just really feel like aliens are going to abduct me. So I'm like, yo, this woman just spent an hour of her time talking to you, giving you game. Bryn is not cheap. You can't get Bryn for cheap. She's one of the top entrepreneurs in the country. And you mean to tell me Brenda took an hour of her time and your question got to do with aliens abducting you? Mm-hmm. But then Bryn handled it like a G. She's like, yo, let me ask you a question. She's like, have aliens ever abducted you before, prior to today? He's like, well, up this so far, aliens haven't abducted me. And she's like, so do you think aliens are going to abduct you today? Like, what's going to lead you to think that? Mm-hmm. He's like, I just feel it. And she's like, yo, well, when it happens, come talk to me. But until then, it's just a mental roadblock. I was like, yo, she's the coldest ever.
It's a mental roadblock.
She flipped it on him. He was so messed up. He didn't know what to do. And I didn't know what to do. Because I'm like, yo, out of an hour-long conversation, the only thing you got was aliens abducting you? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the young kindergartners will keep you on your toes. The younger children, they'll definitely keep you on your toes. And, let me say this while I'm talking about the kindergartners, though. Part of the reason that we're so strong about helping people to build highly profitable private schools is when you're building a school, you're not just building a digital community. Like, you're not building a community of people that follow you because you have something in common. You are, but in this case, you're building a community that's an actual community of people where they're physically touching, meeting each other, interacting with each other, and it's going to help you build your community digitally as well. So part of any successful movement is building a community. And so in this instance, when you have a school, you're not only, most people think, well, I don't know how to teach children. It's not just the children. You have the children, you have their families, you have the friends of their family, you have the community. You're actually building a community of people to support you. So no matter what you do, if you do, let's say you're a course creator, content creator, maybe you're a coach, maybe you're, maybe you're a public speaker, maybe you're an author. No matter what you do, building a community around your business can help to make your business successful. If you give it time. I'm not telling you out the gate that we came out the gate just balling and we just had so much money. In fact, quite the opposite is true. You want to talk about some of the downs?
No, I don't actually. I was thinking about I don't have a lot of funny stories because I realized that I was sitting here like literally thinking like, what do I have that's funny? And I spend time in the school, but like I push paper. Like I respond to emails and handle a ton of paperwork. So it's not. So much. You're not boots on the ground like me. Like you're not in the trenches with the young people. Like yo. Yes and no. Like you're obviously in the trenches more than I am because I handle a lot of paperwork. So I don't have a lot of funny stories. But I heard you talking. Like you talked about how all of our students have to start businesses and all of our students have to publish books. But one of the most exciting things for me this year was all of the resources that we have to help our students with reading and math. Like, I really got excited when we got our library. It's like Christmas for you. It was so exciting to see our library and see all the books that our students can check out and like know that students going to be checking out books and they're going to be getting individualized tutoring in the library, and they're going to become better readers, and they're going to be able to think critically because their math skills are developed. Like that really excited me. So most people may not find that exciting, but I'm just really excited about all of the traditional education that we're going to be giving our students. So we're going to be doing the spelling bee this year, Science Olympiad. Like maybe something fun will come out of that. The first year we do the script spelling bee, or the first time we go to a science Olympiad, or it's so boring. But it's so exciting.
I guess all the educators that watch our show are going to be like, oh my gosh, she's so lit.
Exactly. It's so exciting. Like, we're going to have third graders reading at a fifth grade level, and we're going to have eighth graders doing algebra, and we're going to have seniors in high school that hopefully someday we'll be able to go to Model UN. Like, that excites me. Like,
I'm going to tell y'all,
education for our children is exciting for me, because we're producing like these little educated, what's that? You ever seen one of those teachers just say dangerous, educated black child? Like, that excites me. Like, we're producing these dangerous, educated black children. We're going to send them into the world to just take over. Like,
I'm going to tell you what's not so funny about it, right? I was the one who publicly, I don't want to say like I just did it without my wife. That'd be crazy to say. But we went and found all the statistics on like education in our city. Now, this is what's crazy about the opposite of what my wife is saying. We live in a city where they have an honors program in some of the high schools. The students who make it to honors programs are reading on average at a fourth grade level. We're talking about incoming freshmen. The average reading level of the city is eighth grade. And the city has a 60% dropout rate. Or I should say they have not dropout, 40% graduation rate.
It's not honors. It's
I thought it was an honors program.
No, what is it?
Gifted. Yeah, gifted program. The gifted program has a fourth grade reading level on average for incoming freshmen. So basically, you get children in high school, freshmen, sophomores, you give them like, read this book, and it'd be something real simple. They like, he, like the word is the. And then you trying to like help these students through, because they're not educating children out here. So the educational side is definitely a flex, because they are not producing educated children in this city. And let me tell y'all something. Since our podcast, can I rant for a second?
Sure.
So parents, let me explain something to y'all. Let's just do numbers. Now, I know for a lot of parents in our city, I know what I'm saying is going to hurt your feelings. Good, it should. A lot of parents say to me, well, y'all school is smaller, and I want my child to play sports. Good, children should play sports. But let's just be very realistic about something. The majority of children who go to any university or college that come out of the 4 high schools in our city, it's because their parents did it. Most of these high schools are pushing children towards the junior college that's in town because they have a deal. The average child that comes out of these high schools is not ready for no college. Let me tell you a real story. When me and my wife first opened up our beauty supply store, we hired a young boy who just graduated from Auburn High School. This young man gets in our store. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's true though, okay? He says to me, yo, Henry, they trying to rip me off at the gas station across the street. I say, why is that? He said, I went to buy a pack of bubble gum. It said 25 cents on it, so I gave him a quarter. He said, they gonna try to tell me it costs 35 cents. I was like, yeah. He was serious, like, ugh. I'm like, yo, you gotta pay taxes. He's like, what's taxes? So I'm like, yo, it's like 8%, whatever, on top of whatever. So you can't just get it for that price. You gotta pay taxes. So he's like, yo, so I owe them a nickel? I'm like, no, fam. If they say 35 cents, you owe them 35 cents. And he could not calculate. So my wife goes and she's like, okay, we just want to kind of, because he was asking, could he work our cash register? And something said, like, let's ask questions. So we take this young man, put him on Khan Academy. He tests into the first grade math. We have him doing Khan Academy for like 3 weeks. In those 3 weeks, he has a notebook full of notes on first grade math because he's struggling to get through, like just basic stuff, place value, right? Like if you have
that's beyond
him. It's like just the number gaps, like 1, 2, then it'd be a gap and say 4, 5. This dude was up there like x equals mx plus b squared y. Yeah. I'm like, fam, it's just the number 3, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what I'm saying? I was hitting with the red fish, blue fish, 1 fish, 2 fish. That's what I wanted to hit him with.
I hit him with the red fish,
you know what I'm saying?
What fish?
Yo. Like,
what's wrong with you, dude?
I'm just saying, they're not educating our children. Like, us starting a school was not because we wanted to. Us starting a school was out of desire because we promised our child was never going to public school. Like, do you see what they're doing to our babies in these schools?
Man.
Listen, real story. I'm not going to say no names. This just happened in our school like 2 or 3 weeks ago, okay? A product of this school system, I put on like, yo, we going to, hook you up with a job. Cool. This just happened. This is the one that just happened. This is This is somebody that I brought into our classroom to help teach our children. And she's not there no more. But she says, I don't know what street I live on. I got to see the landmarks. I'm like, yo, GPS doesn't, you can't landmark.
She like, listen, grow your passion.
Yo.
I need a roadmap.
Now, I had just dropped her off like a week prior, a few days prior. So I knew where she lived at. But we get to a street, I just wanted to double check, like, yo, your house this way, right? She's like, I don't even know. I don't recognize none of these landmarks. Fam! We were on the street, like 2 blocks down the street from where she lived at. So I asked her a question. I was like, well, how do you get around? She said, I walk. I'm like, well, if you walk, you got more time to look at the street signs to know what street you're on. You should know where you're at.
They look at
she said, I said, left or right? She said, go right. And if we end up on a certain street, that means we went too far. You got to turn around and go the other way. I swear to God, it's a real story. I'm like, you don't know that that's your house? Like, I can almost see. She's like, I live next to the church. When I see the church, I know where I'm close to home. The church is the building next to her home. So I'm like, yo, if you overshoot this by a block, you're going to end up in the wrong state.
This person's in their 20s, by the way.
With a child.
She has a child?
She has a child.
I don't know.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, the school district is not doing well by our children. So us starting school was a necessity. This wasn't like, yo, this is going to be something, a fun project to get into. Mm-hmm. Like, we've seen our children, and this ain't the first time we had something like that happen. Remember the girl from Jefferson? Mm-hmm. Like, yo, where you live at? She's like,
we spent like 20 minutes trying to get that girl.
She was like, my house is yellow. We like, damn.
That's all she could tell us.
Yellow? She's a junior in high school. She's like, I just know I live in the yellow house. She's like, yo, just drop me off here and I'll find my way home. I'm like, nah.
It was like December. Like, no, we can't just drop you off.
If we drop you off, we're going to be seeing you on one of those TV shows like, she was dropped off at 3:53. You know what I'm saying? Never made it home. Like, no, you live in a yellow house? But all jokes aside, that's what the education system is doing to our children. So we had to start a school. But anyway, I'm going to get off that.
And our child going to public school was
that wasn't going to happen. It wasn't an option. So now let me tell y'all, like any business, there's ups and downs in starting a private school. And I'm going to tell y'all, but I'm going to tell you, this is an up and a down. If you know me, then you know my phrase, it's not good, it's not bad, it just is, right? So there was a time period where we had a car, but there was this thing we didn't know about called gap insurance. And gap insurance is pretty important if you have a car on lease. So I was coming back from the vendor one day, picking up supplies, and I was a few blocks away from our beauty supply / school when we first started. I'm sitting at the red light. I see this car from way down the street. It's whipping. It's doing like 80 miles an hour. And I'm like, it seems like, because the light's yellow, that car is not going to stop. But there also was a car pulling out into the intersection to turn. And, you know, I was like, you know what? I should move my car up. Just in case this car runs this light, I don't want to. But there was a car behind me. So I was like, no, I'm not going to run the light. And sure enough, as soon as the car goes to turn, the car going 80 miles an hour, smacks into the car, hits the car, flips that car. That car, of course, lands on the front of my car, crushes my car. So, first of all, a couple things. I hop out of my car, and I'm okay. I couldn't go out the driver's side. I go out the passenger side. I see it leaking. I'm like, yo, if it explodes and it blows up, if it blows up, it blows up. People are like, are you going to help those people? I'm like, yo, fam, I'm not EMT. Okay? I'm a teacher. I don't do that. I'm going to safety.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't sell that product. You know how folks do. So first thing I called my wife. I'm like, babe, just in a car accident. Our car got crushed. Like, yo, my heart's still beating. My adrenaline's still going. And she's the calmest person on the phone. Like, all right, let me know when you get back. I'm like, yo, I could have died out here.
I think you're exaggerating.
I swear to God. She's like, yo, I'm in a class with these kindergartners, so I got to get back with you. I'm like, yo, I just saw my life flash before my eyes. But anyway, car gets crushed. And long story short, we don't have a car now. And we didn't have gap insurance, and that's all we had. So
we did have a car. We had a car for like 2 months. And then
we had a rental car.
Yeah.
So, of course, the insurance company got us a rental car. But what happened is they said we ran out of rental car insurance money, whatever. We no longer had a rental car anymore. They was like, yo, if you ain't got a car by now, that's y'all problem that y'all broke. So
if you ain't got a car by now.
You hear me? They did us dirty with this one. So now we don't have a car, but we run in a beauty supply store and a school, and we were refereeing. So, all right, so boom. So we have parents in our school who say, they come to us and they're like, yo, we know that because y'all don't have a car, but you need to run these businesses, we want to help you out. They said, how about we pay tuition with this car that we have in our garage that we're not using? So we like, we need a car, we'll take it. Let me tell y'all, this is how we're going to end this episode. We might have to do a part 2. This car, okay, Hoopy does not describe what this car is, okay? We are in Illinois. If you ever know what an Illinois winter is, I need you to understand something.
This was like February.
This is like February. Okay, listen, winters be wintering here, okay? Listen, the car only blew heat out for like 60 seconds at a time, if that. If you got 60 seconds of heat, you were good. Other than that, it's blowing out cold air. Okay? The defrost don't work. One of the windows don't even... Passenger window wouldn't roll. Passenger window don't roll down don't roll up all the way. So whatever's going on the passenger, you just get smacked. If it's snowing outside, okay? Everybody in the car has to put on coats, hats, gloves, because this is going to be a long trip, okay?
Mind you, we had children who didn't have a ride to school that we were picking up. So we would get to our destination, drop one or the other one off, go pick up, it's like what, 3 or 4 of them who needed a ride to school. We would go get them. That didn't last very long though. We had to get another car.
No, but my point is this though, right? And also it had a sunroof that was also open. So even if you wasn't getting smacked on the side from the window that didn't roll up like in a snowstorm, you were still getting, like, it would just drip like liquid on your head. Like the snow would melt on your head or the rain or whatever the case may be. Like, it was bad, okay? And so, but here's my point. We never gave up on the business, all right? You can say whatever you want to say. People could be like, yo, y'all own a beauty supply store and you own a school and this is what you're driving? And I'm pretty sure it was people that said it. They might not have said it to our face, but I'm pretty sure people was looking like, yo, this ain't what success looks like. Success doesn't look like you being in this hoopty, driving around. Like sometimes the car would just stop. Like you would just, if it started that day, you just got lucky. Sometimes it would just stop. And we just have to wait for it to decide it wants to work again. Like it was too old to go take it to get fixed. If you put anything new in there, it would break the rest of the car down. So my point in sharing all I have to say is that it wasn't like we just came in the game, made $1 million, and just lived this happy, peachy life. There's ups and downs in building any business. But for me, one of the things for me is you have to be a humble person or humble people to drive this car. And at the same time, people are coming. You're like, yo, come to my beauty supply store, right? Oh, and people see you making money. So people think you're making money. They getting tuition. They get money at the beauty supply store. They getting paid for this, and that. But trust me, it wasn't as sweet as like how social media, everybody's balling, everybody's winning, everybody's on top. We didn't experience that. So maybe if that's your life, maybe. But for most entrepreneurs, you're not going to have that out the gate, but you got to stay consistent. You got to believe in yourself, and you got to know that you can accomplish what you will. So I'm going to leave it right there for the end of this episode. Maybe we'll do a part 2.
That's pretty
deep. We got a lot more stories to tell from this school. We'll do a part 2. So y'all catch us on the next episode of Grow Your Passion. You want to go and take us out of here. Get us out of here.
Grow Your Passion to Success.
The roadmap?
Oh, yeah. The roadmap to success. I'm going to get it like next week.
All right. By episode 100, we're going to get it down, y'all.
Peace.